You are listening to the Masculine Mindset Show, a podcast for men to develop a backbone, a masculine purpose, if you will, and get more physically attractive, and even become more mentally healthy. All you men listening, I turn nice introverts into fit, self-entitled savages, if you will. And you might even become a little cocky as a result of your G status. More importantly, you guys, I also show you how to flirt and date more women and seal the deal. Just look at the show notes. They are all on my blog articles. Let's get into the content. Masculine Mindset Show. It's Adam Skoda. All right, you guys, today I have Jamie Date on my podcast. She is a professional catfish, and I would just love for her to introduce herself to my audience. What's up, Jamie?
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Jamie Date, dating coach for men. I do more than just online dating, but yes, my claim to fame is online dating. I have been a professional catfish because it's the one area that I can prove that I know what I'm talking about. So I act as a man online, catfishing women to show and teach clients how it's done.
Got it. And so, from your time of being a professional catfish, I'm just wondering, what is the perfect online dating profile? Because that is the biggest number one sticking point for a lot of guys. A lot of guys, they just don't know how to design a good profile. And I know this right well, as I said from Jimmy before the interview, I didn't design the best online dating profiles when I got into the dating game. However, I learned that it requires certain prompts, right? You need to be playful, humorous, and don't take life too seriously kind of thing. So I'm just gonna ask you.
Yeah. So what most men don't realize, to get a perfect, quote unquote, perfect dating profile, there's only one answer. You have to pay attention to your photos. And I feel like as soon as I say photos, guys just kind of tune out. They're like, oh, well, I don't have good photos. Or, I don't take photos. Well, yeah, congratulations. No guy does. You have to go out and you have to take good photos. But then it's almost the other side where what a lot of guys do and they fall victim of is they spend all of this money on photographers, and then all of the photos are not usable because it looks like you got glamour shots at JCPenney, and that also doesn't work either, because unless you are in a position where you are, that you actually have photographers taking your photo, she's going to know that you probably suck so much online that you had to go out and spend money on getting your photos taken, which is not a great frame. So the whole goal is you have to put in effort into taking your photos. Now, outside of working with me, you can do this. So by getting a ring light, literally take pages out of women's books. Guys, we've been doing this very well for years. Take pages out of our books, get a ring light, set yourself up in front of a window so you have natural light shining on your face. Take a few candid shots of you smiling, looking off camera, looking to the camera, serious off camera, serious to the camera, in different backgrounds and shirts. And I promise you, your page, your profile is going to do a lot better than what it was, because there are a few repeats of bad photos, and everyone always loves to talk about the fish picture, but I actually don't even mind the fish picture because that actually shows a hobby. What is so ubiquitous, and I'm talking to both men and older women, if there are any older women listeners out there, you do this too. In your car selfie. The in your car selfie is such a ubiquitous photo, and we need to do away with it. It's the worst angle. Everyone looks like they have a double chin. A lot of men, they show no expression because they want to be too cool. But statistics show that if you smile, you look more inviting.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to put in work with your photos. That is 90%, because the reality is women are not very much different. We are going to judge your profile based off of your pictures, just like men judge us off of our pictures first. And if your photos aren't up to snuff, we're not even going to really bother to read your bios or prompts or even get to the messaging strategy, which is the other portion of it.
I love that. That reminds me that you really have to leverage social status on online dating too. Now, my listeners out there, they're probably wondering, Adam, I don't have female friends like you. I heard your episode 3 ways to develop masculine energy or something like that. It was like a few weeks back that I basically dropped an episode on how I friend zone 10 girls. But the whole point behind that, you guys, is I recommend that you just find a picture in your phone where you have girls in it, because that right there leverages pre-selection. Women want a guy that's in demand. Isn't that right, Jamie?
So actually my answer is a little different. I find that when you are looking for women that are younger, potentially they would go for maybe one photo to maybe two at most photos of you with lots of women. I would actually opt for guys and girls in your photos. Not obviously the group being too big, and you
Mm.
should be, I should easily be able to spot who you are in the photo. But if it's just a guy that looks like he's just with a bunch of women showing them off, it's very obvious. I think women are a lot more intuitive than men give us credit for. And we kind of know what you're doing at this point. So, and especially if you are trying to attract slightly older women, like I'm 34 myself. And if you're trying to attract someone maybe in their 30s or 40s, that is not going to work.
Got
Because
it.
I would see that as someone that's trying too hard. But if I see a fun looking group, not just, standing statues, the smiling, but like a fun looking group at a, music festival or at a, club or a bar or wherever have you, right? And I see that group, I'm gonna be like, wow, I'd like to imagine myself in this person's life. How fun does this friend group look? That's the type of social proof that's going to get, I think, higher quality women than just a man with a lot of women.
So I guess it depends on the social proof, is what I'm getting from you.
Yeah, I think it depends on this type of social proof. And I think that you might be limiting yourself
Mm.
if you are the man that has a bunch of just straight women, right? Bunch of good-looking girls around you. I think that women that are a little bit more serious about dating, they might see that as a turnoff.
Mm.
But if you are in your young 20s and in college or maybe out of college, then yeah, sure, go for it, because she's going to think that, hey, like this guy lives a fun lifestyle. But you're also going to need to counterbalance that one photo with more serious photos. So, like, for example, if you were to say, hey, I have this great photo with all these wonderful looking girls and these are my friends, I say amazing. Another photo I would have right after that is maybe you and your mom or you and your grandma, so that now there's a multifaceted dimension that she's seeing you as not just playboy, but she's seeing you, oh wait, he's also a mama's boy. There's depth now. Do you see how that works?
Yeah. What I'm getting from you is don't have an ego with the social status. Dial. Yeah.
Or less, sure.
Yeah. So, yeah, you guys, I would say just watch your ego and on any dating at all. I mean, I was just the number one thing that I would say about that is don't make it look like you're hooking up with these girls online if you have some friends that are girls in your profile. That's what I would get from what Jamie just said. And also, something that I learned as well is to have a funny prompt. So I would love to hear some funny prompts, because that's something that I've learned, right, with Bumble and Hinge and stuff like that. So let's hear it.
It's so funny. I was actually paying attention to something else before we move on to the prompts. But like one thing I'm noticing in your background, right? You have like a princess castle in the background. Like I'm assuming you have maybe a daughter or a niece or someone in there that is obviously a little girl, unless that's yours, which whatever floats your boat. But I'm going to assume that's probably not yours. So along with the girl picture, right? Maybe you're playing Barbies with your niece, or maybe you're playing, that's another way of going about showing, the multifaceted dimension of yourself. Sorry, that took my attention. I just had to say that. Now let's talk about prompts. So prompts, okay, so what another ubiquitous prompt that I see both men and women fall victim to is they focus too much on what they're looking for, right? I'm looking for a kind girl that I can do fun stuff with and travel with, right? And girls, I'm looking at you too. You're doing the same thing, right? Like, oh, I'm looking for a guy who doesn't take himself too seriously and holds open the door for me or whatever it is. It's like every time I read something like that, I'm like, Who doesn't want those things? Like,
Mm.
if anything, it would stand out more if you're sarcastic. So this is getting into banter, but sarcastic where you flip the idea and you're like, actually, I want a girl who's mean to me, and doesn't let me hold open doors for her, and makes me have to choose every single restaurant that we go to, with a little laugh react or something like that, where it's like, or doesn't like to travel anywhere and just likes to be a homebody. So now you're almost doing this sarcastic opposite angle, which would draw people in, and with the right quip and the right words, it could really make someone laugh, because this is how you stand out, right? Which is a major point of prompts, how to stand out. And that is the number one way of making yourself sound like everyone else, is just talking about what everyone else wants in a partner.
Right. That reminds me, when I was on Bumble, I actually would put in the prompt. I think it says, "Here's what my therapist would say about me." I put a fun boy toy. Now, I think that that's funny. That's just me, because my previous partner did call me a boy toy. But however, I will say this, you guys here, that again, the prompts, in my opinion, gives you character. That's just me, because I like written word. I'm a writer. If you go into my podcast descriptions, I have so many articles where it's just a bunch of banter articles. But we'll get to that here in a little bit. So I just wanted to cover prompts, and I also wanted to ask. I met one of my girlfriends from Coffee Meets Bagel. What do you know about basically being a catfish on Coffee Meets Bagel?
So, well, before I get into that, there's something that you said that I want to get into, if you don't
Sure.
mind.
Go for it.
What kind of woman are you looking for? Are you looking for something more serious? Or are you looking for something casual?
I've honestly just been playing the game casually. That's just how have been doing it right now. That's why I put that on my prompts. And
Okay.
again, it's just to be fun. Now, again, you guys, it's all about fun, okay? Because for the most part, what I've learned, girls just want to have fun. Take yourself less seriously. That's how I would go
Yeah.
about playing the game.
Do you get a lot of hits on that prompt of yours?
I do actually, but I'll get to that in a little bit. I just wanted to ask you about Coffee Meets Bagel.
Yeah. So I've actually never catfished on Coffee Meets Bagel. Here's a fun fact, you guys. I've only catfished on Hinge, only because I think it's the only app that's actually worth it, in my opinion.
Oh,
Yeah. I think that Hinge is higher quality women. I think that I like the platform, how you have to have prompts and it's not a bio. Because a bio, a lot of people can skim. Now, obviously, a lot of people can skimp on the prompts, but I think now I've catfished on Bumble, Tinder, and Hinge, but 90%, 99% of my time has been on Hinge, because when I first started doing it, Tinder is awful unless you're in like Europe or another country where the other ones aren't as popular. Tinder's terrible. I wouldn't even waste my time on Tinder. Bumble's okay, but the problem is that a lot of women don't know how to talk online. It's funny though, because a lot of people are like, well, of course you know how to talk online, Jamie, you're a girl. And I'm like, have you seen women talk online? They're terrible at it. So that's not true either. But when it comes to Bumble, you're kind of at the mercy of women starting that conversation, and a lot of the times she's gonna drive you unknowingly, unbeknownst to both of you guys, into a very dry conversation. And also it kind of puts her in the role of the pursuer, which I don't know, I have pros and cons with. But I've actually never used Coffee Meets Bagel, so you don't have to teach me there, Adam.
oh, well, I mean, it's the same thing as like any other dating app. That's how I gathered it. And there's also the League too. The League, Coffee Meets Bagel, the three that you cover, which is awesome, by the way. I will say, you guys, a funny bio you can use on Tinder is, let's not pretend that this is a clearance rack for all human beings. If you get it. If you get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, again, if you can make a girl laugh in your bio, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's
definitely.
a good thing.
That is a great thing. And so what I do in one of my sessions that I have with my clients is I have them fill out a questionnaire while I edit and arrange the photos that I instruct them to take. And then we switch, where they give me their answers, I give them their photos, they restart their profile, because that's what you want to do if you want to get a new cycle of women in. with the new photos so that you get ranked higher and you get more attractive women if your photos are more attractive. So guys, let me say that again. If you are suffering in match quality, it's because your photos are ranked in that realm. So just so you know, because I've catfished for many types of men. That's the other thing. A lot of guys think that I'm only on one profile, but that's not true. I've catfished for tall men, short men, skinny men, fat men, rich men, poor men. Well, actually not poor because I am pretty pricey. But as far as when it comes to catfishing, I've catfished for everyone. And let me tell you something, Hinge especially will rank you amongst the people that they find you in the same boat. Hate to break that to you. I don't know if that's going to be a good thing or a bad thing, but I will say every time that I get my hands on someone's profile and I extract them on the photos that actually work and I edit and arrange them myself, they always jump up a few notches. So there is hope for you guys if you're not loving the match quality that you're getting right now. But as far as what I do is I have them fill out a questionnaire, and then from there, I actually come up with funny, witty prompts that she can enjoy. And then sometimes, you know, if like I have a client right now he's either in Sweden or Switzerland, I can't remember. But either way, Tinder's really big over there. So he had me write a Tinder bio, which I did for him the other day. And that turned out to be really funny. And I can actually read it to you guys if you guys want to see it. Is that something that you want to hear?
Go for it.
Okay, so this guy told me that he's a big nerd, right? He loves, like when he was a kid, he loved Dungeons and Dragons. He loves Star Wars and Marvel. But now he's actually a restaurateur. He's actually opening up his Nordic fusion restaurant in May, I believe it was. And he also plays in a band, piano band. Not a piano band. He plays piano in a band, I should say. So this is what I come up with. Okay. D&D nerd turned Star Wars nerd turned food nerd. Don't let these neck tats fool you. He did have neck tats. Seeking a Velcro girlfriend who's at least willing to touch butts after a good spoon and comes to my band's shows. I enjoy sharp nails on an itchy back, long walks to the cabinet for cookies, and while we're on the subject, superior taste tester, since I opened my Nordic Peruvian fusion restaurant in May. So how can I put this? What that mouth do? Respectfully, of course. Laugh, react. So that's the other thing. When you are creating a joke, you have to think so much of comedy in real life, guys, is done with body language and tonalities. And body language includes facial expressions. Now, some guys are under the belief that you can't use emojis because you're a man and emojis are feminine. And I can't tell you how wrong that is, because those same men who refuse to use emojis are the same guys complaining that how women are mistaking their jokes for being serious, right? Or they're getting offended. Now, if you're using emojis correctly, you can really aid this result to your favor, right? So if you want to make a girl laugh, really write as if you are saying it. And this also includes comedic timing. And this goes into texting as well as prompts, right? So if there's a natural pause, a comedic pause, right? So like I did like what that mouth do. I did 3 dots before I put that, so that in her head, as she's reading it, there's an actual pause there. And then respectfully, of course, I put in parentheses, right? Dash also invokes a natural pause. And of course, above everything else, spelling. Guys, your and your is my biggest problem. You guys got to know the difference between your and your. You know, not every girl is going to be a stickler about it, but I'm not going to lie. This is my one biased opinion. I am. I will definitely judge you a little bit if you are consistently, I understand 1 or 2, but if you're consistently misspelling words, it's like, come on, guys. But also, you know, 34-year-old woman, college educated. I'm going to expect the same thing, right?
I do definitely understand your point on the grammar thing. Guys, this is proof right here that you need to like up your game on online dating. And the reason why I'm saying that is because of the fact that like girls are smart, as you know, they're
What?
yeah. They're going to look at your messages and be like, what is this guy doing, kind of thing. And if you don't basically spell your correctly, as Jimmy was saying, it's going to be a huge turn off.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to circle back on the emojis thing, because I will say I do host a masculine mindset show. And I actually agree with you that it's good to use emojis.
Mhm.
And the only reason I'm going to say that right now is due to the fact that when I would banter with girls, is I would just include the smirking emoji. And we're gonna get to that in a little bit here in a second, but I'm just like, I think it's really powerful to leverage the smirking emoji from my
Mhm.
experience.
Yeah, smirking emoji is one of my go-tos. I also love the sunglasses one. I obviously love the laugh react. Not the crying laugh react, because I think that's for something that's really funny, but I don't, I rarely use that one, but just the regular laugh react. And then the devil, the purple little devil, if I'm being a little cheeky, or the upside down smiley face, if I'm being sarcastic. But the one that I do not use is the traditional smiley face one. I think it's giving too much. I don't think I'm going to assume that everyone's being pleasant. I don't need to put a smiley face attached to a sentence that's already going to be a pleasant one, because it goes into when not to use emojis. So, when not to use emojis is for sake of repetition, right? So, I play basketball emoji, or like, hey, how you doing? Regular smiley face. It's like, I'm going to assume that's pleasant. I'm going to assume, I know what basketball is. You don't need to attach an emoji towards it. I think it's just unnecessary.
Yes. Yeah. So that's interesting. I have not thought of using the upside down face emoji when you're being sarcastic, but I honestly I'll start using that with this girl I've been talking to named Jessica because she is very sarcastic with me.
Just go watch out. Upside down emojis coming for you, girl.
So something that I like to do in online dating is banter over text, and I would like to talk to you.
I'm sorry, what is it? Being what?
Banter over text.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
uh-huh.
yeah. Now I'm looking at one of my articles right now, and I remember she I was texting with this girl I was seeing at the time. She asked if I could come over her place, and then I said, "Are you trying to say something?" With the smirking emoji. You guys get how that works? Are you trying to say something? That right there is a great way to just start up a banter. Are you trying to say something with the smirking emoji?
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I think is powerful because girls are very subtle and they're not going to make it so obvious. Like you can't just rely on them being forward with you. Guys are like that. Girls aren't like that. But if there's something that you wanted to mention on that, let me know because I think banter over text, in my mind, is very powerful and it can be done correctly too on online dating. What are your thoughts on that?
There's got to be a hand in both pockets, right? You have to go back and forth because if you're consistently banter, if you're always bantering, as a woman, that's a lot of pressure, right? It's like,
Mm.
I don't know where to take this, right? It's like he's being funny and that was fun for a little bit, but like for example, everyone's had a conversation with someone where they don't let a joke die. They keep making the joke and it's like, all right, dude, you got it. Like calm down. And it makes us want to like move away from it. That's kind of what happens with women when a guy is being too playful, too jokey, too dancing monkey, as the old pickup artists like to call it, right?
Right.
Uh, and so there's definitely a need for both, right? And so where I like to go is you want to ideally start playful, right? So that's riffing off of something on her profile, whether it be her prompts, whether it be her photos, what have you, right? And so actually right now, I'm doing a master class in the summer teaching men that are 50 plus. So if there's any listeners out there, guys that are 50 plus and older, their biggest thing is, hey, I don't think that your stuff works for older women. And I'm here to tell you, I started a profile acting as my father on dating apps. I know that's a weird statement, a statement I never thought I'd hear myself say. And let me tell you, my stuff still works. And actually, I'm going to say it works easier. Older women are easier than you think, and I think it's because they know what they want. They know a good catch when they see it, and they're actually easier to really warm up because I think the bar is set so low, to be honest with you. But either way, let me see if I can get.
You bring up a good point that some like a lot of younger girls are very high maintenance. So
As a great opener, right? How to start the conversation with banter, right? With that playful attitude. So one thing you're going to have to learn is lead words. What are the lead words that she's saying, which is really like the main subject words of whatever it is her prompt is, for example, right? Or just like the idea behind the frame behind it, right? And then you want to do word associations. Word associations can just be, obviously self-explanatory, right? What are words that associate with that lead word? Or can you develop, and this is the example I'm going to use, can you develop a hypothetical made up situation between you and her, right? With whatever her prompt is. So like, for example, her prompt says, a shower thought I recently had. If my calculator had a history, it would be more embarrassing than my browser history. So then I say, listen, Riley, dash, natural pause. Listen, Riley, one of us has to be the brains in this relationship, and it's not going to be me. And then I have a little smirk emoji right there. And then she goes, oh boy, we are screwed. And then we're off to the races, right? Because I've already made her laugh. And just like guys, just like when you're talking to a woman in person, you want to make her laugh within the first 60 to 90 seconds because that's gonna double the amount of time that she's going to continue to let you speak to her, right? So again, you want to give value by making her laugh in the beginning is going to really set you up to get her to rush to respond to you. Because the reality is most guys, again, bar's really low. Most guys are starting out with, hey, how are you? Or how was your weekend? Or, what'd you do this week? Or so you want to start out playful ideally when it comes to her prompts. So what you're going to do is you're going to look for lead words, really words that stick out with whatever it is she's saying on her prompt, or it can be the idea behind the prompt, right? And then you want to think of word associations. What are word associations with those lead words to create, for example, a made up scene, between you and her, a hypothetical situation involving you and her, just to riff off of. So I'll give you an example. So this one girl, she put, a shower thought I recently had. If my calculator had a history, it would be more embarrassing than my browser history. So then I go, listen, Riley, dash, natural pause, right? So listen, Riley, one of us has to be the brains in this relationship and it's not going to be me. And then I do a little smirk emoji. And then she responds, oh boy, are we screwed. And also the other thing I like to do is I like to sometimes insert her name in the actual text because it acts as a pattern interrupt because a lot of people don't do that. And your name, so thank you, Dale Carnegie, your name is the sweetest sound in any language. So she is going to kind of perk up when oh, Riley, like he's, it's different. It's different than, because no guys are doing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely really like that because it gives some content that my listeners can go with and use in the real world.
Wow.
Yeah. So what I would do on online dating, you guys, is I would include pictures of me at BJJ or like training some people because I'm a personal trainer too. That's just an example of what I would do. And also I wanted to quickly ask Jamie real quick, what are your thoughts on the looks being important?
I love this question. Thank you so much. So I'm a big fan of playing to the opposites, right? So your look right now, I could tell you're a personal trainer. You look like a personal trainer. You got some guns right there, right? I'm a little concerned if they're licensed, right? No. So you're gonna you look like a personal trainer, right? So actually, with you, maybe have one photo of you, whatever, personally training. But again, you don't want to make it look too staged because then it looks too obvious. I would go back to picture you and your grandma, picture you and your niece is playing, right? Because then it's like, oh, this dude looks like a badass, but he also, like, now there's depth, right? So same thing, I have a lot of Asian clients or Indian clients where they look like a very stereotypical, collared shirt, very iron, very, very, for all intents and purposes, a little nerdy, right? And it's very obvious. If you really want to create that depth, get a V-neck. You know what I mean? Look a little like get some fitted jeans, maybe get a picture of you if you start riding motorcycles or start doing skateboarding, like something. Now, obviously don't lie. If you don't skateboard, don't do that. But there needs to be something that shows, oh, this person, there's more to him than what he looks like so obviously, right? And it's going to draw her in. So play the opposites of what you look like, right? That's one angle to do it. But the other thing, more than anything, guys, the photos don't really need to be a whole production. Because here's the thing. Yes, photos are number one most important, but really what we're looking at is your face. That's what we want to look at. Yes, maybe have a body shot. You know, I say like someone like you, Adam, you know, you have a great body, it looks like. Of course, I'm only seeing you from chest up, but when it comes to how you want to present that, if you have a great body, you need to be doing something that just happens to show off your muscles. So like there's this client that I worked with, he's an artist. He's also ripped, but he's also just like a painting, good painting. I can't even speak. Good painting artist. And what he did is he had this one photo of him and he wasn't even going to use it, but I was looking through the Rolodex of his photos and I selected it. And now, of course, it's the one that gets the most hits. And what it said, or he's painting, and it's a profile of him painting on this canvas. And what do you see on the side? His fucking gun, dude, like his huge arm. And it's like, so it's not so obvious, like, because he could have easily done the whole like gym thing, right? He was like, oh, look at my arm, right? But it's so obvious. But he's painting and you just so happen to see his arm, right? I had another guy where he's barbecuing, right? And he's wearing an apron and it's one of those aprons that looks like a lady figure, right? But he's fucking ripped. You can tell he's ripped. He's just wearing the apron and it's a hilarious photo. Again, he looks like a beefcake, but when he poses like that, it shows this like softer, sillier side of him that's going to appeal to the woman that always says in her profile, oh, I don't want a man to take life too seriously. That's what we mean. Don't take life so seriously. Be multifaceted, right? It shows interesting character.
Yes. So basically a good sum up of what I got from that is to show personality in your pictures.
Yes.
And also I will say that you are right. I do use pictures of me training people, but what I will say is I've learned that you should use a picture of yourself smiling too. And that's something that, again, I hear from people all the time. They're like, Adam, you need to smile more. I'm like, okay, because I do have a resting bitch face. Let's be real. I do. And I have to work on that. That's something I have to work on. So that's just an example, you guys. If you also have a resting bitch face like me, for example, then I would say smile, because girls can be intimidated by that. Just letting you know. And if there's anything you want to say on that, let me know.
Well, listen, I mean, it goes back to animals, right? We're not so different from animals. I mean, yeah, there's obviously a lot of differences, but when it comes to just energy presence, right? What I like to reference is a dog. Okay, you can tell when a dog's been hurt by what? They're shaking, they're not excited to see people, they snap at people, right? They look vicious or they look scared. But what looks like a dog that doesn't have a care in the world, that's happy, that's confident, that's happy to see you? They're smiling, baby. They might, maybe not with their teeth, but with their tail. They're wagging it, right? So humans are not that much different. We can tell one's energy, one's confidence, one's resilience, even if that dog who's smiling maybe used to be abused or used to live on the streets or whatever, has healed, has transformed, is being able to get back to that state where he's being able to be around people confidently. So again, go back to our animalistic roots. Being someone that shows confidence by smiling, by wagging that metaphorical tail that we have, that's going to show us more than with your words, right? 56% of how you influence someone is through body language alone. Yes. Is going to show us you are confident. And what is the number one thing women looking for? Confidence, baby. And that is an easy way of showing that. So again, when I meet a man that's too cool for school, and what I always say is make expression to make a lasting impression. When I meet a man that's too cool for school, that doesn't smile, that is, doesn't want to show too much emotion because he wants to be this like guy, mm-hmm. I see a hurt man. I see a hurt man that has a lot of guards. That's like, don't hurt me. That's why I'm going to look really angry like a dog, right? That's why I'm going to look really angry because I'm actually really scared because I've been hurt before. And that doesn't show me confidence. That doesn't show me, that's not giving security, right? And as a woman, I actually got this from a great dating coach out there, Jared Lawrence. Love you, boo. Women, especially attractive ones, are simultaneously the most secure and insecure people you're ever going to meet. And it's true, because the thing that brings us so much security is a depreciating value, guys, just like stock. Beauty always goes down no matter what. I ain't always going to look like this. Okay. And so when it comes to that, we want to be with a man that has his own confidence so that we can really absorb some of that energy within ourselves. And it's not even just women, guys. People want to be around people who are more secure, because if you're insecure, I'm going to feel insecure around you. And that's why women dip. Because again, going back to, women are way more intuitive than people like to give us credit for.
Yeah.
As a physically and financially weaker species, we have to pay attention to you guys more, right? And we've always had to pay attention to you guys more, right? And it might not seem like it, just like that scared dog, right? We might snap, we might be mean, but it's because a lot of us have been hurt before, right? We are imperfect too. And so when it comes to being able to present that energy, if you can create that protector vibe with very warm, friendly, smiling, that showcasing that confidence, that's the energy that women, especially high value women, want to be around.
You reminded me of something I say in my very first dating ebook. I say to just make self-expression your default setting.
Yeah.
So just...
And you say that with such a stoic face.
yeah. It's... I know, it's just something I just talk like that, Jamie, but it is what it is. So, what I would say is I would just, be animated in your tonalities, like wide range of tonalities. Like don't always be so monotone. That was, again, I have a very earlier episode, I think it was like 10 ways to trigger involuntary polarity, where I talk about just don't talk so neutral. Like you want to be animated and have gestures and basically use your body language to like show that like you're proud of yourself. Like don't be overboard, obviously, but that would be the biggest takeaway there. So and one last thing I wanted to ask you real quick before I forget. All right, so my last question to Jamie is, when it comes to online dating, would you encourage men to optimize for looks, status, and resources, all the above? That's my biggest question to her.
So, I mean, I don't think there's a clear answer, right? Because you can kind of demonstrate all three of those qualities in different ways within your photos. You know, if you're someone that doesn't have any photos with other people, but maybe have like a photo with your mom, or maybe have a photo with your best friend at their wedding or something like that, or maybe you're talking at a wedding or it's just you, that's still gonna show other value qualities, right? You know, women aren't these robotic creatures that are like, oh, he has this picture, check, he has this picture, check. Like, it doesn't really work like that. Honestly, the thing that you guys gotta have to prioritize more than anything else is, can I see your face? Is it in focus? Women care less about where you are. I can't tell you guys in Denver, I'm looking at you. Where you are, I have so many pictures of guys rock climbing and they're this big, ant size in the photo, and I don't know what they look like. And those are the only photos they have. Or like a photo of just like their motorcycle. And it's like, guys, I need to know what you look like, right? So again, you want to prioritize looks, I think would be the answer, but then there's also other ways of showcasing those other qualities within those same photos, right? Status, having a fun group. So like as a music festival goes, so I'll be honest with you. If I see a guy at a nightclub with a bunch of hot ladies, I'm probably not going to swipe right. But if I see a dude with a fun group of friends at a music festival, I'm swiping right, because that's really fun for me. I love that stuff, right? I'll go to a music festival over a club all day. So again, it's going to be what you are catering to. So my above all answer is going back to your resources, going back to what are your resources? What do you like doing? And if that answer is, I don't really know, I'm just trying to cater to what I think women want, that's your first problem. Because here's the thing, men, you're leaders. You guys are hunters, right? Mm-hmm. And we are not the prey. That's what a lot of people think. We are not the prey. We are gatherers. We gather information. We are gathering information about you to make a decision, right? You guys are hunting challenges in life. And we want to follow a guy who's hunting that. But listen, if you're only hunting women, quote unquote, right? Metaphorically speaking, if you're hunting women, if women are your prey and you're also expecting us to follow you, guess what we're doing? We're going around in a big fucking circle, right? You are supposed to be trying to hunt and fight and take down challenges for your higher mission in life. Women, we are gathering information to help you get there. That's women in her divine feminine. If you ever met a woman who's really living out in her divine feminine, we are the original muses, you guys. We have inspired some of the greatest, women have inspired some of the greatest art, songs, music, narrative, stories, businesses, like you name it. Wars have been fought for women, right? We are the original muses, okay? We help you get there. We help and make your vision possible. Woman that is living in her true power. This is why you see some of the most powerful men. Why are almost none of them playboys and almost all of them married? Because they know the value of a true woman living in her divine feminine can help guide, and they can go together. That's the beauty of this all. Now, yes, if you're in your 20s and you want to date around, I think everyone deserves a hoe phase at some point in their life, because just like everything else, we are taught to try everything to see what we like, to see what we don't like. Why not apply that same logic to something as important as choosing a partner? Because a lot of people will agree, choosing a partner is the most important decision of your life, right? Because you're not just choosing someone to sleep with. You're choosing a future business partner. You're choosing the mother of your children. You're choosing someone, a forever friend, right? These are things that are going to make or break the quality of your life. Talk to any divorced person, they'll tell you. So when it comes to really respecting that, that's the one message I want to give to you guys. Women are not the prey, right? I am not the fish. Okay? I'm the catfish, but I'm not the fish. You're supposed to fight your mission in life. You are supposed to get to where you are going to go, and women want to follow a man like that.
I fucking love that. And the reason I say that is because I told Jimmy before I wrote on this interview, I am an author, and in my hardcover book, I give very clearly all of these essential tasks to make it more of an experience. And what Jimmy just said is so true. Guys, you need to have a mission for yourself and know where you want to go, because that's a man that a woman can follow. So that was awesome. That was great. And I would love to release this podcast to my listeners. So I appreciate you coming on to the Masculine Mindset Show. Jamie, I will release this next Tuesday.
Well, thank you so much, Adam. You have a great rest of your day.
What's up, you guys? I appreciate you for tuning into the Masculine Mindset Show today for the interview with me and Jamie Dates, designing the perfect online dating profile. Now, guys, I'm going to put Jamie Dates' Instagram in the show notes today. And if you're on YouTube, why don't you do me a favor? Go subscribe to Jamie's YouTube channel. And lastly, you guys, go check out her book called How to Make Online Dating Suck Less on Amazon. All right, peace out.